The rain hammered against the windows of our suburban home in Minneapolis, mirroring the storm brewing inside me. For 20 years, Alaric, a software engineer, thought I knew my life, my wife, and my place in the world. I was 46, comfortably settled, and utterly, devastatingly wrong. It started subtly. A change in Astrid, a distance that hadn't been there before. Late nights at the office, she said, working on a big project. Astrid was a marketing executive, always driven, but this felt different. The way she held her phone, the quick, secretive glances when I entered a room, the faint scent of a cologne that wasn't mine clinging to her clothes, small things, easily dismissed, but together they formed a knot of unease in my stomach. I tried to talk to her to bridge the gap. "Everything okay, Astrid?" I'd ask, reaching for her hand. She'd pull away, distracted. "Just stressed, Alaric. Work is crazy right now." Her eyes wouldn't meet mine. I wanted to believe her desperately, but the feeling persisted. One evening, I decided to surprise her. Astrid had mentioned she was working late, so I picked up her favorite takeout from that Thai place downtown, thinking a quiet dinner together might ease the tension. I arrived at her office building around 8 p.m., the lobby deserted save for a bored security guard. "Astrid Lindstrom?" I asked. "She's still here," the guard shrugged. "She left hours ago, sir." "Around 5, I think." My heart lurched. 5 o'clock. Where had she been? I called her phone, but it went straight to voicemail. The knot in my stomach tightened, twisting into something painful. I drove home, the takeout growing cold on the passenger seat. Astrid wasn't there. I waited, pacing the living room, the rain intensifying outside. Finally, around 11 p.m., I heard her key in the lock. She walked in, her face flushed, her hair slightly disheveled. "Alaric, what are you doing up?" she asked, feigning surprise. "I thought you'd be asleep." "I brought you dinner," I said, holding up the bag. "But the security guard said you left the office at 5. Her eyes flickered. "Oh," she said, a little too quickly. I had to meet a client. It was a last-minute thing." "A client?" I asked, my voice dangerously low. "At 11 o'clock at night, yes," she snapped, her defensiveness rising. "What is this, Alaric? Are you grilling me?" I didn't say anything. I just looked at her, the years of trust and love slowly eroding away, replaced by a cold, sickening realization. I knew she was lying. The next few days were a blur of suspicion and anxiety. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was living a lie. I started checking her phone records, a violation of privacy I never thought I'd commit. The numbers I didn't recognize, I looked them up. One number kept appearing at the top of the list. It was registered to a Kieran. I Googled the name. He was a coworker of Astrid's, a younger, handsome guy who had joined the company a few months prior. The pieces started to fall into place, forming a picture I desperately didn't want to see. The late nights, the secretive phone calls, the cologne, it all pointed to one horrifying conclusion. Astrid was having an affair. I felt like I had been punched in the gut, the air knocked out of me. My world tilted on its axis, the solid ground beneath my feet turning to quicksand. How could she do this to me? To us, after all these years, I couldn't confront her without proof. I needed to know for sure. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I hired a private investigator. His name was Ignatius, a gruff, no-nonsense man with a world-weary look in his eyes. I told him everything, my voice trembling with a mixture of anger and pain. Ignatius listened patiently, taking notes, his expression impassive. "I'll get you the evidence you need, Mr. Alaric," he said, his voice gravelly. "But be prepared for what you might find." The next few days were agonizing. I felt like I was living in a nightmare, waiting for the inevitable crash. I tried to act normal to keep up appearances, but inside I was crumbling. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. All I could think about was Astrid and Kieran together. Finally, Ignatius called. "I have something for you, Mr. Alaric," he said. "Can you meet me at my office?" I drove to his office, my hands clammy, my heart pounding. Ignatius led me into a small, dimly lit room and placed a thick manila envelope on the table. "Everything you need is in there," he said. "Photos, dates, times, locations. It's all there in black and white." I opened the envelope, my hands shaking. The photos inside were undeniable. Astrid and Kieran, holding hands, kissing, entering a hotel together. The dates and times corresponded to the nights Astrid had claimed to be working late. The evidence was irrefutable. A wave of nausea washed over me, followed by a surge of white-hot rage. I wanted to scream, to break things, to lash out at the world. But I just sat there, staring at the photos, my mind numb with disbelief and pain. Ignatius cleared his throat. "I'm sorry, Mr. Alaric," he said. "I know this isn't easy." I nodded, unable to speak. I thanked him for his work and left his office, the envelope clutched tightly in my hand. I drove home, the rain still falling, the city lights blurring through the windshield. I walked into the house. Astrid was sitting on the couch, reading a book. She looked up, a smile on her face. "Hey, honey," she said. "How was your day?" I didn't say anything. I just walked over to her and threw the envelope on the coffee table. Astrid looked at the envelope, her eyes widening. She picked it up, her hands trembling. She opened it and pulled out the photos. As she looked at them, her face drained of color. "Alaric," she stammered, her voice barely a whisper. "I can explain." "Explain what, Astrid?" I said, my voice cold and hard. "Explain how you betrayed me, how you lied to me, how you destroyed everything we had." "It just happened," she said, tears streaming down her face. "It wasn't supposed to. I didn't mean for it to go this far. It just happened," I repeated, my voice rising. "You didn't mean for it to go this far? What kind of excuse is that? You made a choice, Astrid. You chose to betray me, to cheat on me, to lie to me. And now you expect me to believe that it just happened." "I'm sorry, Alaric," she sobbed. "I'm so sorry. Please forgive me." Forgive her? After everything she had done? After the pain and humiliation she had inflicted on me? "I couldn't, I wouldn't. I want you to leave," I said, my voice trembling with anger. "I want you out of my house, out of my life. I don't ever want to see you again." Astrid looked at me, her eyes filled with despair. "Alaric, please," she begged. "Don't do this. We can work through this. We can go to counseling." "It's too late, Astrid," I said. "It's over. There's nothing left to work through. You destroyed it all." Astrid didn't leave that night. She begged and pleaded, promising to end the affair, to do anything to win me back. But I was adamant. I couldn't trust her anymore. The foundation of our marriage had been shattered, and I couldn't see any way to rebuild it. The next morning, I called a lawyer. I filed for divorce. It was a messy, painful process. Astrid fought me every step of the way, trying to salvage what was left of our marriage, but I was resolute. I wanted out. I needed to escape the suffocating weight of her betrayal. The divorce was finalized a few months later. Astrid moved out, taking with her the remnants of our life together. The house felt empty and cold without her. I spent weeks in a daze, numb with grief and anger. I tried to understand why she had done it. Was I not good enough? Was I not attentive enough? Was I not exciting enough? I replayed our marriage in my mind, searching for clues, for warning signs that I had missed, but I couldn't find any. I had loved her, I had supported her, I had been a good husband. I couldn't understand why she had thrown it all away. As time passed, the pain began to subside. The anger faded, replaced by a dull ache of sadness. I started to rebuild my life piece by piece. I focused on my work, I spent time with friends, I took up new hobbies. I started to heal. One day I received a phone call from a number I didn't recognize. I answered it cautiously. "Hello," I said. "Alaric," a voice said. "It's Kieran." My blood ran cold. "Kieran, what did he want? What do you want?" I asked, my voice tight with anger. "I wanted to apologize," he said. "For what I did, for the pain I caused you." "An apology?" I scoffed. "That's all you have to say? You ruined my marriage, you destroyed my life, and all you can offer is an apology?" "I know it's not enough," he said. "But I wanted you to know that I regret it. I regret everything." "Regret?" I said. "Do you know what it feels like to be betrayed by the person you love most in the world? Do you know what it feels like to have your trust shattered into a million pieces? Do you know what it feels like to lose everything you thought you had?" "Yes," he said, his voice barely audible. "I do." I was taken aback. "What do you mean?" I asked. "Astrid left me," he said, "a few weeks after the divorce was finalized. She said she couldn't be with someone who had hurt you so badly." I didn't say anything. I was too stunned to speak. "She said she still loved you," Kieran continued. "That she made a mistake, a terrible mistake, but it was too late. You were gone." I hung up the phone, my mind reeling. Astrid had left Kieran. She still loved me. Was it possible? Could there be a chance for reconciliation? I thought about it for days, weighing the pros and cons. Could I ever trust her again? Could I ever forgive her? Could I ever forget what she had done? In the end, I decided that I couldn't. The pain was too deep, the betrayal too profound. I couldn't go back to the way things were. I had to move on. I never spoke to Astrid again. I heard through mutual friends that she was doing well, that she had moved to another city and started a new life. I hoped she was happy. As for me, I eventually found love again. Her name was Bront. a kind, compassionate woman who accepted me for who I was, scars and all. We built a life together, a life based on trust, honesty, and mutual respect. I never forgot what happened with Astrid. The pain of her betrayal would always be a part of me, but I refused to let it define me. I refused to let it poison my future. I chose to move on, to heal, and to find happiness again. And eventually I did. Years later, I received an email from an unknown address. It was from Astrid, Alaric. It read, "I know it's been a long time. I just wanted to say that I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the pain I caused you. I'm sorry for the lies I told. I'm sorry for destroying our marriage. I know I can never undo what I did, but I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me. I wish you all the best." I read the email, my heart aching with a mixture of sadness and forgiveness. I didn't reply. There was nothing left to say, but I realized that I had finally found peace. I had forgiven her, not for her sake, but for my own. And in that forgiveness, I found the closure I needed to finally move on with my life. But the story doesn't end there. A few weeks later, I received another email. This time, it was from Kieran's wife, whom he had cheated on with Astrid, Alaric. It read, "I know this is unexpected, but I felt I needed to reach out. Kieran has been a wreck since Astrid left him. He's lost his job, his friends, and his reputation. He's completely alone and drowning in regret. I know you suffered greatly because of their affair, but I can't help but feel some sympathy for him. He made a terrible mistake, but he's paying for it dearly." The email struck a chord with me. I remembered the smug, arrogant Kieran I had seen in the photos provided by the private investigator, the man who had knowingly broken up my marriage. Now, he was a broken man himself. After some deliberation, I decided to reach out to him. I found his number online and gave him a call. "Kieran," I said, my voice hesitant. "Alaric," he replied, sounding surprised. "I heard about what happened," I said. "I'm sorry to hear you're going through a tough time." There was a long silence. "I deserved it," he finally said. "I made a terrible mistake and I'm paying the price." "I know it doesn't excuse what you did," I said, "but I understand what it's like to be in pain. If you need someone to talk to, I'm here." Kieran was taken aback by my offer. We talked for a long time that day. He poured out his heart, expressing his remorse and regret. He had lost everything just as I had. He had learned a painful lesson about the consequences of his actions. We continued to talk on and off for several months. I became a reluctant confidant, a sounding board for his guilt and regret. I never forgave him completely, but I found a strange sort of empathy for him. We were both victims of Astrid's choices, bound together by a shared experience of betrayal and loss. In the end, Kieran managed to turn his life around. He found a new job, started therapy, and began to rebuild his relationships. He never fully recovered from the damage he had caused, but he learned to live with it, to atone for his mistakes. My story is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. It's a story about betrayal, heartbreak, and loss, but it's also a story about forgiveness, healing, and finding happiness again. It's a story about learning from our mistakes and moving on with our lives, even when the pain seems unbearable. It taught me that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope for a brighter future. And that sometimes, the greatest act of revenge is not to seek retribution, but to rise above the pain and create a life filled with love, joy, and peace.